Hi, everybody. It's Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope for our week in review. Before we get started, please do me a favor. Click that like button, click the little bell so that you're notified every time we go live, because we don't always just go live for this. We go live for a variety of different reasons. This just happens to be one of them. And one of the reasons why we do this is to capture all of those individuals that might not be on Facebook and give them an opportunity to banter with members of Aortic Hope, ask some questions, talk about the things that we post in social media. I mean, it's just is what it's supposed to be about, right? We're supposed to talk about this stuff and voice our opinions and our thoughts and questions and all of that good stuff. So click like, click the button, the little bell, and then share it and drop me a comment, and I'll be sure to give you a shout out. So let's get started right away. We're going to talk about last Monday, and last Monday was movement for movement, time to move. We all know we do this every other week. We all know that doing nothing is doing something. However, many of us kind of need a little bit of support to just get moving simply, just a little bit. We need a little bit of motivation, and this could be whatever is cleared for you. So this could be walking down and collecting your trash. If you're somebody who's just out of surgery a few weeks ago, this could be just getting up and going to get a glass of water. For those of you that are newly diagnosed, let's say with an aneurysm, and you're in the watch and wait, you might feel totally scared to move because you're scared you're going to implode, but your doctors have given you a list of restrictions and you can do the things that they've told you that you can do. You might find it a little bit difficult, a little bit challenging emotionally or mentally or physically, but trust me, you can do it. So let's talk about a couple different things here. According to Carol Kruvoff from Yoga Journal, titled Yoga Practice for High Blood Pressure, she says that if you have high blood pressure and know you're at risk for high blood pressure, yoga poses, breathing, and meditation can be powerful tools when it comes to your self-care regime. She also continues to say that several studies have shown that yoga can actually lead to a significant reduction in blood pressure, most likely thanks to its ability to kind of calm your stress, which causes short-term spikes in blood pressure, and it may be implicated in the long-term development of the disease. So if you want a little bit more, want to learn some more, you should check out this article. Now, I will say that in this article, they do go over about 3 or 4 very simple yoga poses. And some of us have been told we shouldn't do, let's say, downward dog, which is that traditional, like a TP, you're kind of in that V formation, head facing down, because it does create a lot of pressure in our heads. But there are some yoga poses in there, but more importantly, what I kind of thought was very interesting that they also said, and I printed it here as a reminder, is that deep sleep, it actually tames your blood pressure. So the deeper that you're sleeping, the better off you might be. And medical research have actually discovered, I'm not talking well today, medical researchers have actually discovered another reason to get a good night's sleep. In a recent 3-year study, men who regularly sleep deeply or slept deeply were less likely to develop high blood pressure than people who slept lighter and were more disturbed. So yoga can actually help reduce your stress, thus enabling you to have a deeper sleep, which will possibly in turn help reduce your blood pressure. So there's a little bit of a cycle here going on, but we're not medical professionals. We don't give medical advice. Articles that we share here are basically intended as just a bit of information. So always consult your personal physician and ask, could yoga work for you? There is also cardiac yoga. So there's, deviations and different types of yoga that you might be able to try, gentle yoga. So it doesn't have to be hot yoga. I would never recommend that at all. But take this information, take this article, take it back to your doctor and ask, can I do this? And if so, are there things that I have to avoid? And see if it doesn't work in helping you reduce your stress and maybe increasing your sleep. Let us know. It's a curious thing. I hate yoga. I can just say that. I don't like it. I don't like it. I find that somehow if I stretch, I break something. I rip something. I don't know what's going on. I think it's that I'm old. I think it's that I'm old, Josh. What do you think it is? It's whatever it is, it's bad.
I'm not sure why you don't like yoga. Elk Carr says, "Hi, Karen."
How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to know that you're here with us. I appreciate it. I don't like yoga. I don't like that downward dog. I do like water yoga.
Mm.
That I enjoy. You mean there's no bending over and you can't breathe, you know, be a lot of bubbles. But I find that challenging because now you're trying to move your body against the natural movement of water. So it really challenges your mind to concentrate on balance and stability. That I did like.
It's an excellent resistance mechanism too. A lot of
Hmm.
high level athletes use it. Like
Yeah, I don't
you'll
know.
see baseball players like swinging a bat underwater, and just that
See,
resistance
right?
of being in the water is so much more than swinging a bat in the air. So I
Oh,
mean,
so
it's
much more.
yeah, that resistance. It's got to be something. There's got to be something there.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? How can you hurt yourself? You're in water. You can't fall down. It's going to go boom.
I
You're
wouldn't put
in
it past
water.
people. I know people that fall down just standing still.
You're absolutely right. I would not put it past somebody to somehow fall down in water and hurt themselves. But it is really a great place if you've got loose ankles, especially if there's probably some mobility issues or joint issues. And I can't imagine it wouldn't be beneficial, especially for our Marfan population, just that hypermobility and just being able to work against the weight of water, that current. It's just, I love that. Don't put me in a room with yoga, though. I'm going to complain.
That's fair.
Trying to hold those positions, put my foot up in the tree. That's not me. It's not for me. Different things, different strokes for different folks.
Hmm.
Can't even get me to stay quiet long enough for a mindfulness class. I'm always one eye open peeking. Although the other night I did sleep, so that I don't know what that says. I might have just been really tired or super relaxed. Who knows? We're going to move on to topic Tuesday. And this
Hold on, hold
topic,
on, hold on, hold
yes,
on, hold
we're
on.
holding.
Elk says, I go to yoga 3 times a week. I do gentle yoga, yin yoga, and yoga for balance. The classes are trauma informed and perfect for helping me deal with my aorta problem.
Well, I need to write that down. I've never heard of yin yoga.
Gentle yoga, yin yoga, and yoga for balance.
And yoga for balance. I wrote all these down, Elk, and this is wonderful because now I'm going to do research and I'm going to read articles and I'm going to post information about this because I'm always open to giving something a try.
Let's hope she
Yin
gives us a little link,
yoga.
maybe something online we can look at.
Yeah, comment and give us a link of this so that I can start doing a little research. I would love to share this. I mean, I've heard of gentle yoga, but yoga for balance, no. And yin yoga, that is definitely new. So put it in the comment section. I'm going to research it and I'm going to see if I can try it and I'm going to report on it. Or Elk, you can join me and you can explain it to everybody. You could do that too once. An option. Okay. Going on to Tuesday. Doctors and specialists. Who are they and what do they do? Does anybody really know? I'll tell you, as a survivor in this community, I hear some people say they see a vascular specialist. I do not have a vascular specialist on my team. It's part of the aortic disease center that I go to. I've never seen a vascular specialist. I've only seen my thoracic surgeon and my cardiologist, but evidently there's hypertension specialists. There's all different types of doctors. So I'm sure that if I'm confused, and many of you are confused, but have you ever wondered exactly what types of doctors are supposed to be managing your care and being part of your team? And what exactly do these doctors treat? What about other types of specialists? So, we're going to talk a little bit about the common names for these specialists and what exactly they do. And this should just give you a moment to pause and think about your own team. And if you have questions, if you're missing someone, talk to your primary care or talk to your cardiologist, talk to somebody. But let's talk about it. So, a cardiologist, we all have heard of a cardiologist, but you need a cardiologist who understands aortic disease. Because typically, a cardiologist will help treat pain. They obviously will work with high blood pressure and heart failure, as well as other problems with your heart valves, with blood vessels, and other heart and vascular issues. So, they can also perform a TEE, which is a transesophageal echocardiogram, transesophageal echocardiogram. Say it 3 times fast. Maybe you'll win a prize. All right, so that's your cardiologist. I typically go to my cardiologist. This is just me for anything. She is the overriding decision maker on cold medicine, on supplements, on anything. I do nothing without discussing it with her because I know that I could take a simple supplement in my mind and it might have an adverse reaction to my medication she's prescribing. So I like to have that open conversation and dialogue with her often. And I know that if I'm having a problem with my medications, she's going to be the one that's going to tweak everything and be like the cardiac chemist. Cardiac chemist. Let's create that. That's a new job title. All right, moving on. Let's talk about a cardiothoracic surgeon. So this is somebody who specializes specifically in operating on the heart or the lungs or other thoracic chest related organs. So they're anything that's in that upper chest area, cardiothoracic surgeon. It's who I had do my surgery. Although some people have said that when they've had a type A, they've actually had a vascular surgeon. So I'm not sure how much they go hand in hand. Let's keep going. This is all in no particular order except that it's in alphabetical order. There you go. Genetic counselor. So a genetic counselor will actually assess a patient's risk for a variety of inherited conditions. So they're going to sit with you. They're going to talk with you about your family medical history, something that Think Aorta preaches all the time. They're going to ask you about your immediate first degree relatives, and they're going to piece together this big, huge flow chart looking thing that they develop by having open communication with you, and they're going to go back and determine the risk. And then in that department, they'll make the decision on what, if any, types of genetic testing would be performed and to whom. Okay. Internist, otherwise known as GP, general practitioner, otherwise known as PCP or primary care physician. This is the doctor who's going to help you manage all aspects of your health. This is soup to nuts. This is everything. And they usually can help coordinate care with your specialist. So, for instance, my primary care told me she is the spine of the book and the pages are the specialists. So she's kind of holding all of that together, which is why they want you to have your medical records sent to your PCP or internist or family doctor, your main doctor because they're going to take a look at it with a different set of eyes. They're going to look at the CAT scan, not just from a cardiac perspective, from an all over body systems, and look to see if there's anything that needs additional follow up. Now, that's what your primary care doctor is good for. They're good for a lot more than just a cold. I mean, if you have a cold, you can go to an urgent care. But a primary care, a really good doctor is going to sit and have the conversation with you about your entire body system, stay on top of your immunizations, etc. So it's really valuable to have one of them on your team. And I did not for about 7 years because I didn't understand the value. It's because I didn't have the right doctor. And now I do. Okay, moving on. LCSW, LCSWC. So now we're into the therapeutic side of the medical industry. And an LCSW stands for Licensed Clinical Social Worker. If they have the additional C, that means clinical. It's an extra certification. That's an extra step in their process. And so they're actually going to assess you and treat a variety of mental health disorders, including generalized anxiety disorder, medical trauma, or PTSD. Now, they are not the ones that would typically be dispensing or prescribing medications. That's going to be more of your psychiatry, but they are going to assess you for any type of mental health disorder and then provide treatment options. So LCSW, LCSWC. In some states, I think it's LPC. There may be another letter in there that I'm missing. So they may be a little variation state to state on the credentialing. And you might want to take a look at that in your own state. Okay, here's another doctor that you might end up seeing. Nephrologist. A nephrologist will actually diagnose and treat kidney conditions and kidney failure. So some of us, I know when you've had your dissection, your kidneys became impacted. And so you would end up seeing a nephrologist possibly. Neurologist. So a neurologist is going to be the doctor that you're going to see that's going to treat diseases of the brain, your spinal cord as well, peripheral nerves and muscles. So these conditions could include a stroke. It can include a trans ischemic event. So this could be a TIA, a trans ischemic attack, or complex migraine. So when some of these neurologists have different titles as well. You're going to have some people that focus and specialize in strokes and others that specialize in cognitive disorders, some that specialize in migraines. But that all falls under neurology. And just because we're talking about these does not mean that you're going to end up seeing all, or you may only see one or two. So it doesn't mean that you're lacking in care. There's a lot to mention. Thirsty. All right. Ophthalmologist. Why would I see an ophthalmologist when you're part of the aortic disease world? Because they treat a variety of eye conditions such as retinal detachments. And I'm sure we've all heard about this, or glaucoma, or cataracts, lens issues that tends to happen in the Marfan community. A lot of us that do not have a diagnosed genetic disorder are still found to have had a retinal detachment. We become at risk for this. So I don't remember all of the reasons why we're at risk for this. I just know that it's happened to many people, including myself, but that's who you would see. And as far as my personal follow up, I'm seen yearly to make sure that my retinas look good. Once you've had a detachment, you are at higher risk to have another detachment. So it's important that you add that in if you've had one, and you make sure that you're having your follow ups on your eyes as well. Phlebotomist. I think we all know by now that the phlebotomist is the person that is going to draw your blood, and they're checking for kidney functions before you have a CT scan. Especially if you're having a CT scan with dye, they need to know that your kidneys are functioning properly. That dye, that IV contrast, weighs pretty heavily on your kidneys. Not so much the gadolinium that comes with a MRI, but definitely the ones that come with the CTAs. They also might be taking a look at your INR, which is your international normalized ratio. And that is a blood clot timing test. And that's typically for people that are on blood thinners, not Plavix. We're talking Coumadin and warfarin, is what I believe. That's what they're checking on. Okay, continuing, a radiologist. Radiologists are going to be performing your CT scan, your MRA, your MRAs. They may also be doing your echoes as well. So they're going to perform the test, and then there will be a doctor of radiology that will read those results and then provide those results to the ordering physician. So your sonographer is really what the specific name is for the person who's doing your echo. That's considered like an ultrasound. Your sonographer is going to perform that test, and then the final results will be provided to the ordering physician. Okay, vascular surgeon. A vascular surgeon specializes in blood vessels and veins that are not associated with the heart. However, they do specialize in surgeries related to aortic aneurysms and aortic dissections. So that confused me because stuff that they do, stuff that they don't do, but that they do stuff doesn't matter. I don't need to understand it. I just need to know, do I have all the right people on my team? And for me, I know that I do. So this is, again, not meant to confuse you. This is meant to just describe some other specialist names or categories you might not have heard of, and the reasoning why. So if there's somebody that's on your team that's not listed, we'd love to hear about it. And we'll see if we can add it to the list. I think it's important for us to know. It's a lot of conditions. I mean, that's a lot of doctors handling a lot of conditions. Pretty interesting topic Tuesday.
That's a good list. Karen Heichel says hello.
Hello, Karen. Hello, hello.
I
So
said,
sweet.
I
Nice
said,
meeting
how
you.
are you? What you knitting? And she goes, knitting a blanket square. I was like, part of a bigger project. She says,
Yes.
yes, 1 square a month,
Yeah.
have a blanket in the air, making one for each of the grandkids.
Oh, that's going to take some time. That's
Right?
going to take. I wonder, Karen, if you've ever done what's called a temperature blanket. I'm sure you've heard of it. I tried to do that on a loom, a round loom. And what you do with the temperature blanket, which is kind of cool, is for a year, you determine what color yarn you want to equal temperature ranges. And it's not like, okay, 80 has to be red. 80 could be blue. 40 could be pink. You decide whatever it is. And then based upon that day, that's the color yarn that you use to loom that once. So you just knit that color for the day. And then the next 365, you should definitely have a nice blanket. But as soon as I forgot, I was behind a week. I'm trying to looking up what the temperature was all week. Like this, I'm not doing this. I need instant gratification. Give me a pot holder and do that really fast, or a hat. But
Or a hat.
yeah. Well, and so you could do that. You could say to yourself, I'm going to do the average of a week. 52 weeks is definitely going to be enough to knit a hat, and it could be your temperature hat. It's kind of cool. 2023, this is what the average temperature was for the year in different weeks.
She
Kind of
says
fun.
yes.
See, she knew. I
She
knew
says
she'd
yes.
know. I
I
knew she'd know.
I said, that sounds lovely. I miss my knitted blanket back in kindergarten. It was the last time I was allowed to nap in school. What kind of trick is that, Karen? 1 year
Yeah,
of napping, and then it's like, no naps. There's no
I know
naps.
they take it away fast. And nap time was a great time. And I think they should reinstate it definitely in high school because we're tired. We're tired and we need a nap before 3 p.m.
Karen
for
goes,
sure.
it's called heaven or retirement.
Yes, that's true. It is. Nap time is retirement. Yep. All right. Moving on. First Friday fundraiser. I say I have their pictures in here. There they are. There they are. There they are. Just some of the many logos that we have. Just some. Gotta check out our shop. National Doctor Day, March 30th. This is the perfect time for you to order something now for your physician to say thank you. Your cardiologist, your general practitioner. We just learned about all these doctors. I'm sure there's somebody you want to order something for. It's our Hope swag. Don't delay. Grab some of that swag today. And you can actually get $10 off if you use the code DOCTOR. You'll get $10 off anything that you want to purchase from our shop. So again, we've got some awesome logos. We've also got some that's just our iconic icon right here, just the hearts. We've got our Aortic Strong shirt. We've got Hope. Then there is the Aortic Keep Fighting shirt. Of course, we've also got our newest caregiver awareness shirt. So check it out. There's something there for everybody. Again, don't forget to use the code DOCTOR and get $10 off your purchase. And this, it's not just shirts, everybody. It's mugs, it's water bottles, it's towels. I mean, there's so much stuff on there. But you got to go to Teespring and check it out. The link is in this post, or you can go to our Hope Shops. It's the second link down, and I'm sure you'll find everything you need there. That was our first Friday fundraiser. Every
That
day is
sounds
a fun day.
fabulous.
Fabulous.
Elk says the only time I napped was after my surgery.
Look, when we're done here, give me about 30 seconds. I'll be downstairs in the recliner napping. Trust me. Mm. But I'll say I'm napping right now more because we increased my medication. So I cannot keep my eyes open to save my life. But you just put that fan on, you put a little Morgan Freeman talking about dolphin and penguins, and I am out cold all the time.
How long is it going to take you to adjust to the new meds?
A couple weeks. It's not a big deal.
Bo is
It's just
here.
tiring. Hey, ding, 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 Bo.
Good to hear from him.
It's always good to hear from you, Bo. It's always good to hear from everybody. So we've got Bo, we've got Karen, we've got Elk. We need to pull a name. If anybody else draws by the time we're done, I'm going to send somebody something a little special in the mail today. Pop-up contest. I love when I decide to do it. Today I remembered.
Today I
Popped in my brain.
remembered.
Popped in my brain. All right. Saturday. We did a little something different on Saturday. We haven't talked about this in a while. It's a very interesting chart. So there was an article called The Emotion Chart my therapist gave me that I didn't know I needed to have by Sarah Schuster. So this chart, it's crazy. All right, but the basic gist of this chart, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, is that compartmentalizing and putting away feelings, it just doesn't work. We all know that. You can't just take your feeling and be like, nope, I'm going to deal with it later. Feelings, they just don't go away, and they don't seep into the ground to never return again like rain does. Okay, they're just always there, sitting on the surface. In fact, it's more like the water cycle. So whatever the earth absorbs naturally comes back as rain. Except in this version of a water cycle, the more water that goes unused and unprocessed, the bigger the storm will be, basically. And water you ignore comes back with a fury, demanding your attention. Rainy, big, angry drops come back with a fury, and they basically just come down on your head. So in the end, this type of rain, it's going to cause physical symptoms too. So just think about your emotions. It's like rain. And if you just try to dismiss it, you're going to end up with a huge, massive, bigger puddle. This will just be a mess of a puddle. So you really need to take a look at your emotions. And so in this wheel of emotions, it's basically a chart. It says it's a simple chart. I found it a little interesting and challenging at first, but they have different levels of color-coded emotions meant to help those who possess it to kind of identify their feelings. So according to American psychologist Dr. Robert Plutchik. Humans can experience 34,000, 34,000, it's a big number, distinguishable emotions. Humans are actually capable of so many vast and complicated emotions. Identifying them in itself is a practice, and dealing with them can actually end up being a strength. So let's just click on this here for a second. Just bear with me because it's a little small. But they basically say we start off in the middle because we know the emotions that are listed, like I'm sad, I'm surprised, I'm happy, I'm angry, I'm fearful, I'm disgusted. These are pretty common terms, and we all understand this. So let's say you're feeling fearful, okay? You would take fearful, which is located right here, and I'm going to read you these words because they're a little small. And if you want to delve deeper into your emotions, you would go to the next. So if you're fearful, are you actually scared? Are you anxious with that emotion? Are you feeling insecure? Are you feeling weak, rejected, threatened? Okay. If you're feeling any one of those, let's say, you know what, I'm fearful, but I'm literally feeling scared. I feel really scared with this and anxious. Okay, so you go over to here where scared and anxious are, and you see, well, what is in this category? Helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried. So it's kind of helping you figure out, all right, I'm fearful, but what does just fearful mean? Well, I'm actually scared. Okay, let's keep going. It's peeling the onions of that, the layer of the onions, not peeling onions, I'm peeling layers of onions away. So really what you might realize is that what you're feeling is truly overwhelmed. And so the overwhelming feeling is making you feel anxious, and that's making you feel fearful. So you go in and out. You start off easiest emotion here, work your way to the next level, and work your way to the final level. And then you realize you can also then come back down. So it's a lot. I get it. It's totally a lot, but it's kind of cool because I don't think anybody gives a lot of weight to the outer ring, especially. I mean, you've got words in here like ridiculed or perplexed or violated or uh, inquisitive. I mean, they run the gamut of emotions. And who would have thought that inquisitive would have come from interested, which comes from happy? You just It's just another twist on your emotions if you are finding that you're putting happy or sad or whatever the emotions are on a shelf. Don't wait for that big torrent of water to come and mess you all up. Sit with your emotions, and it just gives you a chance to really think about them in greater detail. Late at night, that would be too much detail for my brain. I'll just sit with the inner ring. But if I'm trying to be mindful, I might want to go to some of the other rings on the outside to really get to the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes it's the most obvious isn't the most obvious answer. Sometimes we just can't understand what we're feeling. And it doesn't matter. Just trying to suppress it is going to make us sick. It's going to make our blood pressure elevated. It could possibly make us not sleep, and that's going to make us feel horrible. Use this tool to help you identify your emotions.
Yeah.
Saturday, right? Kind of cool stuff.
So
Tell you what's cool.
I was checking in with Bo, see how things are going, and
Yeah.
treatments are over. Thank God, he says, right? And then
Ringing those bells.
I was like, wonderful. What's next on your path for recovery? He says recovery and learn to eat again. He hasn't eaten in a
Yeah.
month. He says.
Yeah. But he will. It will happen. It's going to take
Swelling
some
has to
time.
go down. Everything tastes like
Yeah.
battery acid from the radiation.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
will go away.
that might.
It
Yeah,
should go away.
I asked him if they gave him a list of things to start with.
Mm-hmm.
To the emotion chart,
Mm-hmm.
Elk says, I really like this wheel of emotions. I'm going to share it with my yoga book group. It fits right in with the book we're reading.
Oh, wonderful.
Right?
If you want, please share with us the book.
Well, I
Curious to know.
said, Elk, what book is your yoga book group reading? And why do I imagine everyone reading upside down?
In Downward Dog. Reading it.
She says, no upside down
Exactly.
reading. We're reading The Secret Power of Yoga. It focuses not so much on just yoga, where you do the poses, but yoga as a lifestyle.
That's you've got me intrigued, Elk. You really do. I'm starting to rethink my I hate yoga. So that's good. I'm open.
See?
I'm
And
open.
happy, something inquisitive, right?
Yeah, that's me. I am in, I'm Definitely not feeling disgusted, sad, angry, fearful, bad, surprised. I'm feeling, maybe I'm surprised. Maybe I'm feeling a little perplexed, confused, and surprised by my desire to maybe look into this. Right? Very interesting. All right. We are going to move on. So, Sunday was a reminder to what we launched last week, which was joining Savvy. That was a great live launch. I mean, what amazing information. So, Savvy, if you're looking for a way to give back to the community and you want to help Aortic Hope and you want to help the community at large, you have to check out Savvy. And it's savvy.coop for cooperative, savvy.coop. So, what is Savvy and why do you want to consider signing up? Okay. Companies, lots of different types of companies, pharmaceuticals, uh, medical device companies, even hospital systems. They have questions. And who's going to be the best to answer those questions about medications, packaging, products, service? The best people to answer these questions are going to be the patients. And too often, companies and innovators waste so much time and money creating a product or a service that don't meaningfully impact their patients' lives at all. And why? Because they never bothered to ask us. And we're right here. So our patient insights are here, and Savvy makes it very easy for innovators to actually understand their patient experience by connecting them directly with diverse patients and caregivers who earn rewards for participating in the Savvy gig. That's what they call their market research or their surveys or their interviews. They call them gigs, which I really like that. The key difference here with Savvy than any other organization, because they're all wonderful, is that this is actually owned by patients, totally owned by patients, created by patients, owned by patients. It's the first and only patient owned public benefit co op, and nothing says patient centered like a patient cooperative. So there is a video, it's adorable in here, kind of explains to you a little bit more about Savvy, as well as the link that you need to use to sign up. When you sign up with this link, they're going to give you access now to a gig. And when you complete a registration form, there's going to be gigs that will match with your physical conditions, your illnesses, or your diseases. And if you're a potential match, you're going to be asked to verify that you actually have this condition, that you actually have this stated medical condition. And you can verify that you have it by posting or uploading a picture of a medication that you take, or actually posting the link to your survivor story that you should all be sharing with Aortic Hope. Or if you've written a blog and you have a link to that, you can do that as well. And if you're accepted by the client, well, now you have an opportunity to earn anywhere from $25 to $110 for giving your opinion. Your opinion. And the interesting thing is it's kept confidential. So all of your material, when you're filling out initially, will be seen by one of their patient representatives internally. But once it goes to the client, you are just a number. They don't need to know very specific information about where you live. They may just want to know where you are demographically in the United States or beyond. They want to know maybe your age, but they don't need to know who you are, your name. They just want to know, did this person verify that they have this medical condition? And do they meet our requirements to participate in the gig? And again, $25 for 15 minutes of your time, or 110 for an hour of your time. And then what you're doing in giving back to the community, one of the things you're doing is you're allowing Aortic Hope to also receive some donations in the form of $50 to our organization if you are chosen to participate. None of this comes from your money. This is all given by the participating company. So we should let the medical community make some decisions based upon our opinions, based upon our caregivers' opinions. And again, we're sharing this information for you as one of the many services that are provided in the community for our community. Participation is obviously something that you can choose to do on your own, but all of the information here, definitely check out the video and check out the link and sign up. I have been approved for many so far. Now we're just waiting for the client to decide when they're going to move forward with giving surveys or interviews. And then I'll be able to tell you firsthand what it was like to participate. So this is exciting. I love having my opinion heard. I have a big one, opinion. And I love being able to give back to the community. I've been doing this type of stuff for a long time. I've participated in makeup surveys, and I've participated in food. I participated in uh, like the EpiPens, the automatic injectors for Crohn's and colitis. When I was heavily involved in that world, I would go to many marketing events behind a two-way mirror. This is when people met in person in the olden days, and just touch and feel these automatic injectors, listen to the sound, and letting them know that sometimes the sound was too jarring. And so as a patient, you would, you know, pull away, and next thing you know, medication's going everywhere. So these are important details that these companies need to hear from the people using these products. So that's all of us. It's all of us. I highly encourage you to check it out and make a decision on what's right for you.
We
Moving on.
we got
Yeah.
Karen Heichel interested. She asked for the website. I dropped in our little askpatients.co/aortic hope link.
Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, Karen. You should check it out and let us know what your experience is with it. That would be wonderful. Events. Events. March is a very, very busy month. So we've got support group meetings. We have support group meetings that cover the entire general aortic community, which means you can be a patient or a caregiver or a family member or a friend or someone who just wants to learn. Come to the virtual support group meetings. They're the ones that do not have the word caregiver listed in front of it. The ones that say caregiver are for caregivers only. And there's a very specific reason. Caregivers have their own separate set of needs. The general will answer anybody's question. We'll talk amongst ourselves. Caregivers is for caregivers only. So if you are a patient and you try to log in and register for caregivers and you are not actually a caregiver yourself, you are going to be strongly explained why you're not allowed to join. Sorry, it's an exclusive club, but there's other support group meetings you can join. We also are having a live Q&A with Dr. Kristen Watkins. She is a doctor of pharmacy out of University of Maryland. What I love about her presentation is that she's going to talk to you about beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, ACE inhibitors, diuretics, blah, blah, blahs, lots of things. I can't remember all of them because there's so many. But I would be surprised if you're on a medication that is not listed in this presentation that she's going to give. What I also love that she does is she explains the medications that we're taking typically prescribed in this community and any potential side effects, what the benefit is and the value of these medications, what they actually do to our bodies. And that's wonderful because nobody's really explaining that to you. They're writing your prescription. Now you can hear about the medications that you're taking. And if you have questions, you have an opportunity to ask her. Again, any information that you are learning from this event should be used as a tool to start a conversation for yourself and your own personal physician. There's a reason why you've been prescribed the medications that you are. However, don't sit in pain or discomfort. If you're having side effects or you're having some adverse reactions, you have to communicate this to your doctor and allow them a chance to come up with some other formulation because there's a lot of medications out there. Give them a chance to make you feel comfortable. And remember that changes can sometimes take a few weeks before they take effect. So that's on here as well. One other event that we have not yet scheduled is another live survivor series by community member Scott Pribble. Now, Scott Pribble, many of you have heard his name. He did write a New York Times best-selling book called Miracle Man. We will have all this information up here so that you can check it out. That is happening in a week. Josh got the specific details, I'm sure, handy.
The
I'm dating the
13th.
time. The 13th, March 13th. He's going to talk to you about his experience with his aortic dissection and also talk a little bit about what got him into the book. We're excited that we're going to have him for a separate event in later down the road where he's going to talk a lot about his book. We missed him on our first book review or our book recommendations and our book tour, I'll say, that we did when we had a lot of authors up. But he is listed underneath of our resources for our recommended book readings from the community, by the community. You can check that out as well. But that will be up here, and that is another live Q&A for the month of March. It's a busy, busy, busy month. Lots of stuff to do, lots of stuff going on. So that is it for our events.
Who are we sending to Houston?
Oh, we are participating in the Aortic Symposium in Houston. This is all things aortic, all things Dr. Big Speak. but we have got myself and Terry, our other board member, starting off as representatives of both Think Aorta and Aortic Hope. And then we are followed up with Tim and Robert. We'll be wrapping up the show in Houston as we have an opportunity to talk all things Think Aorta related, Think Aorta, Think Family, which we're going to be doing an official launch of that campaign at that time. And we'll be talking about the catcher's mitt that is aortic hope. So we're so super excited to go to Houston. Hope not all things are bigger in Houston. I lived in Houston when I was a child. And all that I remember is that the bugs are really, really, really big. Really big, supersonic. Should be fun. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I love opportunities to go to these medical conferences and just really try to have that immediate impact on being pre-active by thinking about the aorta. It's just two simple words that have made such an incredible impact in many countries across this planet, actually. Just think aorta. And we're going to be talking to the doctors that do that all day, every day, as well as some doctors that need to just learn to adapt this and think outside the box a little bit. And then also talking as the reactive organization that because these doctors have thought about the aorta, Aortic Hope has an opportunity to provide support and education and hope to all of those patients that have been diagnosed at risk or diagnosed with an aneurysm or have survived a dissection. So yeah, Houston, it's coming up in a couple of weeks. Very excited about it.
Yes, very quickly.
So quick.
So Elk says, you might like it, Karen. The difficult part is finding the right studio for your yoga pursuits.
Yeah, I think I'm going to look into a couple actually. And I think as long as I can find somebody who might be more sensitive to my medical issues, my medical needs, and at least would be able to give me alternate positional options because of how I'm impacted with my circulatory system, that would be great. I'm open to it. I will make it a plan and I will report back.
Aha, I like it. All right, and prayers for Bo.
Prayers for Bo, always thinking about you, Bo. All right, so we had Karen, Elk, Bo. Did I miss a name?
No, that's our panel today. There's a quiet person in here somewhere. Or that might be me. I never know.
All right, do you want to randomize? Boop, 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 boop. That's the sound of my wheel in my head spinning with people's names. Yeah. Boop, 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 boop. Are you really going to do it? You want me just to do it?
I'm just going to. I'm doing it right now. Okay. Yeah.
Doing it right now.
Right, and as usual. All right, so let me bring this over here. Pow.
Ow.
Spin.
Spin.
Elk is our winner.
Elk, you are our winner. Wonderful. Do me a favor, shoot me an email at info@aortichope.org, and I will then in turn give you a link so we can get a prize out to you. Thank you so much to Karen and to Elk and to Bo and to everybody else who has a chance to watch this. Thanks, Josh. Thanks for being my Howard or my Robin or whichever one you want to be this week.
100% you get to be Howard.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. All right. Thank you all for watching. Please, again, don't forget to click like, hit the bell so you're notified when we go live. I love bantering with everybody. I appreciate your time and attention. And we will see you here same time next week, 3 p.m. Eastern. Have a good week. Take care.